we're getting what we deserve to get throughout this month and a half. And this is sports. This is soccer, and I think there is a lot of positives in these last two games, and there's a lot of things to keep improving. As I always said, winning or losing, we still need to improve and to get better. But I'm really happy for the effort that the team put into the good moments of soccer, and then after to suffer, and to get the result and to go to a small break that we have now with a positive mindset.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome into another episode of the Top Fly Podcast. As you can see here, we're back on screen today. Beautiful Austin, Texas. We got my G Primo here. We got Monterrey, a.k.a. Tucker, or the other way around, however you want to go by it. And, of course, today we're joined by a guest by my G, ATXFC News, HUDSON. You can call him Huddy. Always on the fan reactions. You know him as the Feliz guy. We got a good episode locked in today. We got a great episode. A lot of talk about big win, back-to-back wins, first time since March. But before we get into it, I do want to introduce the lads. Primo, starting off with you, mate. How are you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. It's a good Sunday. A little bit of rain throughout the whole day, but I'm glad we got that dub yesterday. Kind of makes up for all of that, so I'm good.
Yes, of course. And we heard a little bit of what Coach Nico had to say there, his general thoughts after the match, and we'll get into that here in a bit. But first, let's introduce my G, Tucker, Monterrey. What's up, brother? How are you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. I'm excited to be here. It's important to build momentum. So we're going into a break, 2 wins on the bounce, hoping to build off that. So I'm excited to talk about it.
And let's introduce the guest of the pod today, my G HUDSON, ATXFC News. Been killing it with the Austin FC coverage. It's great to have multiple people posting about Austin FC. You got Verde Nation ATX, you got ATXFC News, of course, you got WATV Media, and a lot of other places out there, a lot of other podcasts that are doing the Lord's work, pushing the Verde and Black narrative. Shout out to all the podcasts out there, Moon Tower, North End Podcast, and also all the other ones out there, Suffering from Joy, and of course our friends Phil West and Moises. But HUDSON, ATXFC News, mate, thank you for being here. How are you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. What a win last night. Thanks for having me on here. It's my first time. My voice is a little gone because, we won. I was in the sports section with Tucker. And, yeah, it feels good. So, good way to have the weekend go.
Definitely a good way to have the weekend. It's Saturday. You got Sunday. We're here recording the podcast. And it's a good way to, start off the week and also get into this break. But before we get into the match, I do want to send a shout out to the folks on Patreon and the folks on Discord. The conversations are great on there. They take interesting routes sometimes. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, it all ends well. It all ends well on the Discord chats. So a big shout out to them. Thank you for the support there. And also make sure to check out the ATXFC News stickers that just came out. Buy some of those stickers off of RG HUDSON and help support the page like that. So let's get into the episode. Of course, we heard what Coach Nico had to say there post-match, saying that this is a lot of the stuff that Austin FC wasn't getting the last month. A lot of the stuff that Austin FC was kind of getting unlucky with. And he's happy with the effort. He's happy with the lads, the way that they perform against New York Red Bulls. Like I said, first back-to-back wins since late March when you beat LAFC and San Diego. You get back-to-back wins. That's 6 points, 2 wins in June. Very different storyline than what May was. Of course, it was a very, very difficult month for players, for coaches, for the fans. But Tuck, I want to start off with you, mate. I want to get your general thoughts getting into this match. Austin FC defeats the Red Bulls for the first time. First win against this team in the Eastern Conference. How did you see it?
Look, it was a good win. I thought, we held the ball very well. We controlled possession very well, which, we haven't been great at the past, the month of May. I thought we held on to it a bit much, but at the end of the day, we won 2-1, and we got our chances, and feels like for the first time this season, we're saying we got our chances and we took them. So that's certainly something to build on.
Definitely made something to build on. Although we are going into this break, you did kind of hint on that momentum is important, but we'll get to the schedule here in a bit. ATXFC News, my G HUDSON, how did you see last night's match? I mean, one indicator would be maybe the state of your voice. It's clearly gone. But from the ATXFC News standpoint, how did you see this match?
It was as Tucker said, a great match. I mean, it finally felt like we weren't here sitting at our looking at our missed chances. We finally were able to put stuff away. Vazquez, great finish on that Bukhari
Yeah.
cross across goal. And it's really just like a big turnaround from that month of May. I think that 3-0 home loss to Minnesota kind of got us on the wrong foot, and it just kind of went on throughout the month. But we finally got some time to rest, and then here we are with 2 wins. I think we have the team to do it. It just an unfortunate month of May that left us here, but now we turned it around, so it's looking good.
No, definitely. And Dani Pereira also alluded to the fact that the month of May was really kind of hectic in the fact that they couldn't really practice much of their tactics, really get to work in that aspect, right, in that department. It was a lot about recovery, a lot about resting. And, you see this team recover some players like Miko Destler, which we can talk about here when we get to the lineup. Getting him back and also freeing up John Gallagher has done great things for this team. But going to my G Primo, mate, how did you see this match? I mean, Austin FC was able to get a big win. First time you beat the Red Bulls, back-to-back wins since late March. I mean, if you're Nico, you got to be really happy because a couple weeks ago, there was fans saying, hey, do we need a new coach already? I mean, Nico's kind of breathing at least more freely now, Primo. How did you see this match? Big win for Austin.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely a big win for Austin. I think, something we desperately needed. Looking back on how things went in May, but then again, May was a really hectic month. A lot of games, and so I think just they're building momentum. We gotta get some momentum going. We got some tough games coming up. We got Seattle and then LAFC right after that. So this is good. We need to be winning at home. At home is where we need to win. So. Another 3 points collected, and with Nico, I mean, we need to hold on Nico a little bit, man. See, because then things like this happen, and so the season's not over yet. We're barely halfway through, maybe a little bit past halfway, but we're still in playoffs. We're still in playoff contention. So as long as that's not out of reach, I think we're in a good spot.
Definitely in a good spot. And also, Nico was talking about it midweek. He was saying how this New York Red Bulls team last season surprised, the league when they went into the playoffs in 7th place and they were able to go all the way to the MLS Cup final. They were Eastern Conference champions, but you saw what happened. LA Galaxy won that game. The great side of different story this season for the LA Galaxy team. But the New York Red Bulls, Nico did give him credit, and fans around the league, I feel like respect the New York Red Bulls. They respect them because, and I'm gonna get Huddy's take on this because it's not that New York Red Bulls is ever an easy 3 points. They're a team that consistently has been good in the league. And for the MLS sickos out there, right, for the people that have been in this league for a while, I really do feel like there's a little bit of respect for the New York Red Bulls because they're not an easy team to beat. But Huddy, what do you think about the 3 points over New York Red Bulls, but kind of just this kind of like respect for who the New York Red Bulls are from Coach Nico, because he did kind of give them credit, saying that they were on like good form, this and that, talking about their season last year. How did you see them?
I mean, he's right. The Red Bulls are always a good team. They have the same typical Red Bull style that we see from like Leipzig and Salzburg, where they kind of promote youth. And I think it's worked well. I mean, they've made playoffs pretty consistently. I've said since I started following the league at least. And they have good players. They didn't get to play Lewis Morgan for that much, which I think definitely helped us. But yeah, I mean, getting a win over someone like that who was just in the MLS Cup finals, that's definitely gonna get us some respect at least. I mean, we have to do more to get back to where we were back in the 2022 days, but
No, definitely. I think Austin FC is also a little bit on a quest for that respect, to get it from the league or whatnot, especially after what 2023 was and the Violette and all the Open Cup failures. But hey, into the quarterfinals of the Open Cup, and we're slowly starting to get some of those important wins for respect, and also for like those power rankings. I feel like Austin not really favored in those kind of things. And hopefully this is one of those statement wins that the fan base is kind of looking for, right? But guys, I want to talk about the goals because, Austin FC, this is the third match in 2025 where they score 2 goals. Now, I know it's not that big of a flex. I know it's not something to really pat your back on. I'm saying 3 games with 2 goals and your fan base is celebrating that. Like I said, it's not really a flex, but we do got to feel good about it. We got to feel happy about it. And why? Because it means that the attack is, starting to flow. The attack is starting to click. And, you also got to give credit to the midfield, which we talked to Dani Pereira post-match about, playing with Sabovic and also continuing, his partnership with Owen and also Ilya and whatnot. And, they were talking about how Danny was saying how the team has depth, right? But before we get to Danny and the midfield, like I said, let's break down the goals that Austin FC was able to score against the New York Red Bulls. And we could start off with the one that Guilherme Biro was able to put into the back of the net. And it starts off from a corner kick that it had a little bit of a handball shout. I don't really know where that came from or whatnot. But at the end, Owen Wolf is able to put in a beautiful ball into Guilherme Biro, who has a great header. It was kind of aimed towards the center. Guilherme Biro has enough power on that where it makes it a difficult save, and the ball ultimately goes into the back of the net. But Tucker, how did you see the goal that Biro put into the back of the net? He's happy. He celebrated it like Spider-Man. I'm sure it was for his daughter. But hey, Austin FC put out that all dads are superheroes too, and Biro kind of walked into that easily. How did you see the goal? How did you take it in? Biro's loving it for sure.
Yeah, dude, it was just a good set piece play. We don't score off the set piece directly. The ball bounces out. I think it was Sabovic that called for a handball, which was kind of weird, but Owen, right place, right time to ping in let's give him props for that cross. That is literally a pinpoint perfect cross to Biru's head. And it was a good header. Cornell is a good keeper. He's a Paraguayan international and has been for multiple years. He's been one of the better keepers in the league over the last few seasons. He's a good keeper, and it was a class header and good goal. Great way to start the match. It was like super early too. It was like 6 minutes in or something like that. So what a way to start the game,
Super early. I got his name wrong. I said Coronado. My fault. I meant Coronel. Thank you, Tucker, for that. Thank you, Tucker. But we have here a little stat that Austin FC Communications put out. Guilherme Biro recorded a game-high 3 successful tackles, made 8 clearances, and won 6 out of 9 duels to go with his goal in last night's win over New York Red Bulls or Red Bulls New York, however you want to call it. But like I said, he's got to be loving his footy. Also, there was a quote here that Verde Nation was able to find from a Brazilian outlet. It was pretty much Guilherme Biro saying that it's a special milestone in his career, that he's grateful for the opportunity to reach 50 matches for a club like Austin FC, and that he's happy to have this consistency and to be able to contribute to the team. So this is a guy that loves putting on the jersey for Austin FC. He loves playing for the badge. He was going to fight 6 LA Galaxy players and the coach, and he almost ended Ricky Puig's career. But like I said, there's really nothing much that you can complain about Guilherme Biro week in and week out on defense and in the attack. But Huddy, how do you see this guy? How did you see him against Red Bulls New York? And this little stat there, he's got to be loving his football right now.
When we first signed him, I don't think I heard a single positive word about it. Everybody's telling all this, Roto doesn't know what he's doing. And then
second division shouts.
Yes, he just pulls him out of the second division in Brazil for 200,000. And he's probably one of the fan favorites on this team. Just cult hero attitude. He loves putting on the jersey. He'll go out. He'll run through a brick wall for the team. It's anything you could ever want and ask for a player. Especially at a left back for so cheap. He's the perfect fit defensively, but more importantly, sometimes offensively, he just goes out and scores goals. He scored against LAFC this season. He scored yesterday, and now he has more goals in MLS than Uzuni does. So that's where we're at.
What a stat, man. All these little stats are just not favoring Mirtu Uzuni. But hopefully with this break going to Europe, he comes back with new energy. That's what Coach Nico was saying post-match in his press conference, saying that him and Bukhari are going to travel back to their home countries, meet with their families, and come back with new energy. But we have here, moving on to Brandon Vazquez's goal. Actually, before we move on to Brandon, Primo, I don't think you were able to get in a word on Biro. How did you see him made? What do you like about him this season so far? This guy is really like a set-piece threat, kind of what Huddy was hinting at there. The fact that Biro was able to get a set piece goal against LAFC, does it again against Red Bulls New York Red Bulls, whatever. How did you see him, mate?
I mean, very, very, very good. You want these type of guys on your team, guys that are not afraid to get in the box, especially when they're in defense. He's going to step up. He's going to play for the badge. He enjoys playing for Austin FC, and that's exactly what we need. If you want to be a playoff team, if you want to be a contending team, you need players like Biro. Players that want to play, that are excited to perform in front of this fan base. And so with him getting his goal yesterday, I was really happy that he scored. I'm a big Beetle fan, so I love his attitude also. And he's our starter. He's our guy, in that position. So hopefully he can bag a few more goals the rest of the season. But at the same time, he's also a really good fullback. So. Really
Question for y'all real quick. Is Biro maybe a contender for one of Nico's picks for the All-Star?
That's a good shout because he's one of the better left backs in the league. But it's not even a debate. He's one of the best left backs in the league. And I don't know, Austin are kind of bad, so he goes really underrated, which kind of sucks, but I think that's a good shout.
He's definitely one of the more complete. He gets goal contributions and he defends really well, and that's kind of what teams need in a fullback. So yes, he's definitely one of the best, and I don't think anybody, and at least in our fan base, would be angry if he got a pick.
No, I think maybe with what he had happen against Ricky Puig, I feel like a lot of fans around the league would recognize his name, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that guy's a dog. You know what I mean? Maybe there'll be a different reaction there, but I feel like a lot of people would agree with him being one of Nico's picks, and I don't think that they were saying anything. And like Hoodie said, at least in our fan base, it would fly under the radar. It's like, okay, that one works out. It'd be kind of like a Stuber over Biro for sure, but it'd be kind of like one of those. But I want to get into Brandon Vazquez's goal. Tuck. I want to get into BB's goal. We have a clip here that we can play. BV9, got to give him credit for the movement in the box. I thought there was one of the nicest goals that Austin FC has scored in recent games. If it wasn't for a Red Bull player getting a header on the ball, it would have been around 15 to 20 touches leading up to that goal. But it was around 9 to 10 after the Red Bulls player got a little bit like a header on it or whatnot. And I got to give credit to this team because it was honestly one of the nicest goals that Austin FC has scored in a while because of the movement, the ball that was played in, the game winner, of course, and that also goes into it. But let's hear what BV9 had to say, and then we can get Tucker and Hudson's Primo's take on the 2-1 game.
It's nice to be getting results now.
Brandon, that second goal was absolutely beautiful. The build-up was, I think there was 10 or 15 touches that actually went into it. Bugatti played in a fantastic ball to you. Is that something you guys been working on maybe in training grounds?
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Spaces where I need to be more consistent making the runs, and if the ball is put in there the way he put it, it can be a lot of danger. So, we've been working on it.
Now, Brandon Vazquez saying that they've been working on it. Him and Buka, probably other players from the attack as well. And, when Brandon was signed, everybody was talking about how much of a threat he would be in the air. That ball was played on the ground into a very dangerous spot. And Brandon is saying that, yeah, we've been working on it that for me to get into these dangerous spots, these dangerous situations. But I want to start off with Maji Tucker. How did you see this goal and also the words from Brandon Vazquez post-match?
Look, this was my favorite goal we've scored this season. Just like the play, the build-up play. Bakari, dude, this is what you want to see from your DPs. Bakari is triple marked on the right wing, and he gets out of it and plays in a dime, perfect ball to Vazquez. And what a finish. Near post against Coronel, who's one of the better keepers in the league, like I said, who's marking his near post, and he's able to just squeeze it in the right spot to get the goal. It was such a good goal. It was a classic Vazquez finish, just a proper striker's finish, right place, right time. And that's Vazquez's game. right? Not build up play, link up play, false nine. His game is being in the right spot at the right time, recognizing space, knowing where to be in the box. It was a perfect goal. You have Bakari, who's skinning defenders, gets out of being triple marked to play the ball in, which is his thing. And then you have Vazquez reading the space with a perfect striker finish, which is also his thing. So it's a perfect link up. That's what you want to be seeing from your DPs.
Huddy, you got to back that up, mate. What did you think of this goal? And also, of course, what Brandon Vazquez had to say post-match. How did you see it, bro?
I mean, everything Tucker said, I agree with. I mean, I remember Coach Nico at the beginning of the season said when we were having all this defensive, results that, okay, what are we doing?
Continue. What is there something on my
At the
face?
beginning of the season, Nico was saying that they put a lot more work in the offensive end, and it wasn't showing. But finally, it is, and we're getting what we want from at least 2/3 of our DPs. And as Tucker said, this is exactly what we want to see. I mean, Bakari has been fantastic. I don't think he could have possibly done any better in any of his last 3 or 4 or 5 games when we finally put our highest paid players in the right spots. I don't know how it took us that long to figure out, but it did. But at least he did figure it out, and at least we're scoring goals now with 2 of our DPs. So
there we go. Now, hopefully, everybody can get it going here soon. But talking about, we also got to talk about Bakari, and Owen Wolf is also going to be mentioned here as well. Austin FC Communications puts out this stat saying Bakari and Owen Wolf respectively recorded their 5th and 6th assists this season, all competitions, in Saturday's win over Red Bulls New York. 62% of Austin's goals in 2025 have been either scored or assisted by Bakari or Owen Wolf. 62%. I mean, talk about contributions, Tucker.
Yeah, this is a stat I really wanted to talk about because these are by far our most gifted players technically on our team. It's not even a debate. Even if we're going back to the build-up play of the Vazquez goal, Owen picks up a long ball from Suher out of the air and pops it up to take it away from 2 Red Bull defenders that are running into each other to get the ball. And then he's able to run into space. And just the whole game, you see how Owen's able to get out of tight spaces, take half turns, body feints, waiting for people to step, and he can get out of being double, sometimes triple marked. You've seen glimpses of it over the last 2 years. And I feel like now you're really seeing just constantly improving Owen, and hopefully he can start adding the goals to his game. But I mean, another great game from him. And then of course, Bakari, he's one of the best, wingers in the league. He might not be putting up the goals, so he's going under the radar, but in terms of dribbling and technical ability, he's on Bawanga level. Just the technical ability to beat players, to get out of tight spaces. If we could just play in a way to add goals to Bakari's game, he'll be an MVP level player. We have to get him more involved in the goal scoring. But there's nothing more I could ask of him. He's been honestly our best player over the last 2 months, and he deserves this assist, especially after a majority of the season. All of the perfect balls he's been placing in that our players have been missing because we've been missing so many chances. For him to get that assist, he really deserved that.
Okay, very well said there by Maiji Tuck. Now, I do want to get ATXFC News Maiji Hudson's thoughts on what Tucker said there, and also, the fact that Bakari and Owen Wolf have these goal contributions that are really helping out the team right now. That's what you brought Bakari in for, but Owen Wolf, the fact that this kid is a homegrown supplemental roster. I've heard people say that, we don't need this guy, that he doesn't deserve his minutes or whatnot, all this and that. Those conversations have completely died out. The kind of performances you get from Owen consistently is honestly fantastic. And the money that you pay for him, Hudson, just give us your thoughts on Owen and also Bakari, because Austin FC Communications is doing a lot of work for them by putting out that stat. They earned it, though. They earned it.
I think that Owen has always been at or around this level, but once you take his dad's the coach of the team out of the picture, people actually look at it straightforward and don't say, "Oh, his dad's the coach, so ignore everything he does and only focus on the negative things." So now people are actually seeing it the way he is. They put that stat out, 62% of the goals. That would be cool if we hadn't only scored 15 goals this season. I mean, like it's good that they're scoring those kind of goals, but it just kind of points out that the rest of the team isn't doing anything at all, and these guys aren't even doing everything they need to be doing. Before, because now they are, and that's why we saw what we saw last night. And if it keeps up this way, then I'll be satisfied. But the mean this season has not been good enough from anyone.
Yeah, and I see what you mean about the 62%, and then after this, I'll go to Maji Primo, get his thoughts on young Owen and Buka also. But that 62%, you're right. It does. You would be like, oh my God, it's high. But Austin FC does have a little bit of goals, so maybe that inflates that percentage. But Bukhari is getting those goal contributions. Owen Wolf is also getting goal contributions, and I guess at least that's a shift towards the right direction. Nico is getting what he wants from these guys, and for right now, I guess you could say that's something to be happy about. But you do got to continue. You do got to build on it, and hopefully Bukhari starts getting some goals because kind of like what Tucker said, that he's not getting those goals, so maybe people aren't really like looking at as they should. But Bukhari being able to take these players 1v1 and also getting these assists when it comes to it, when he gets to that line, it's great for the team. But if he's able to get those goals, I see that point 100%, that he would probably be looked at in a whole different manner. But Primo, your thoughts on Buka, Owen Wolf, and then we'll get into this lineup that Austin FC put out.
Yeah, with Owen, Owen's just what a really, I guess, grown up in a way as a player. We've seen him come out of the academy, first homegrown player, and he's doing well. He's holding himself down on the first team, and I feel like he just does all his talking on the field. I feel like he maybe heard some of the heat that he was catching in the beginning. Oh, coach's son and all that stuff, but his Coach Wolf isn't here anymore. His dad isn't here anymore. So, and since then I think he's really stepped up. I think he stepped up even more after. Maybe have something to prove, but either way, it all contributes to the team. This is what we wanted from a homegrown player, and so I think he's just developing really well. I think it's another nod towards our academy. The good work our academy can do, and so hopefully we get another player like Owen come around soon. And so with Bukhari, I like Bukhari. I like how he's been playing lately. Not getting on the scoreboard, but definitely contributing to those other goals. And this is what you want to see from DPs, connection in each other, understanding each other. And I think Bukhari eventually will get there, but at the same time, when you have a player like Brandon Vazquez on your team, who is also a really good goal scorer, I feel like as long as he's contributing in some way, he'll be okay. He's a really good player. He does really good one-on-ones. Like Tucker mentioned, I think probably one of the best in the league. So he's doing well. He's doing good.
All right. Now, speaking of the academy, the 15s and the 16s, they are out of the MLS Next Cup playoffs. Fortunately, first round of 32 exit, but the 18s, they're currently playing. Probably after we finish recording this pod, we'll get the full-time result. Hopefully, they're able to go through. But guys, let's talk about this lineup real quick, because there was some conversations when it dropped if it was a 4-3-3 or if it was a 4-4-2. Now, MLS and FootMob, they were finally on the same page, and they dropped the same formation. And here we've seen this lineup at least already. We've seen these guys come out in the same way before. Now, sometimes you see Mirtu Uzuni instead of John Gallagher, of course, with everything going into this match, and also good performances by John. He gets the nod from Coach Nico. But we see here the highest performer, the highest rated player on FootMob for Austin FC was Guilherme Biro with an 8.1. I'm sure the goal had a lot to do with it. Although Brandon Vazquez, he doesn't get the same love. He has a 6.4, but I'm sure the own goal had a lot to do with that. And at the end of the day, Austin FC in the stadium awards the man of the match to Alexander Svatok, center back that got a 7.0 match rating. Now, if it wasn't for the own goal, it would have been a clean sheet, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Would have doesn't exist. But let's be real. If it wasn't for the own goal, Austin FC would have essentially shut out the Eastern Conference champions of 2024 and held them down to just one shot on target, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the Emil Forsberg beautiful free kick that Stuver saves there in the final minutes of the match. But I mean, that's got to be something that the defense has to be proud of, right? But Tucker, I'll start off with you, mate. I mean, how did you see this lineup? Did you like it? Of course, Austin FC wins it, but when it came out, did you think that Nico had it right?
Look, yeah, and I think we know what conversations are going to come out of this, right?
Mate.
We played really well with this lineup. It looks like a 4-4-2, but I think in possession, we played more of a 4-3-3, and then out of possession, we kind of pressed in a 4-4-2. But the 4-3-3 works. When Gallagher's on that left wing, you link up play. We're just so much more connected. He understands the way the team plays more, and we know what conversations are gonna happen. We're all thinking it. The 3 games where we scored 2 goals and won the game. What was the common denominator?
The weather?
No, it wasn't the weather. The common denominator is Uzuni was not playing, and it's a tough conversation to have. It really is. Club record signing, came in to break records, right? Like it's a tough conversation to have, and
100%.
Nobody wants to have it, but we're all thinking it. And Uzuni has not shown the level that he needs, and it just shows when Gallagher's on the field, we play much better collectively as a team. It feels like we link up more. Gallagher reads the plays more. He knows where to be and when to be, and it's a hard conversation that needs to be had. But this lineup works, and I'd like to see them run it again for our next game again in 2 weeks against Seattle.
My G, Hudson, back up that argument that Tucker just proposed. I mean, it is 3 games that Austin FC scores 2 goals. It is 3 games without Mirtu Uzuni starting. I mean, do you think that it's that simple, or you think it's just a lot more to it, that there's just context that needs to be added? How are you seeing all this?
I mean, I don't really ever think he was going to get serious minutes. He was just on international break. He was just on a plane, and he's back on a plane right now. But if he doesn't get his act together soon, he's not even going to be the second choice at left wing. He's going to be the third choice, because don't forget, we have Robert Taylor and we have Gallagher. And that could maybe be the only thing last night, is maybe Taylor could have started, but we don't know where he is in his recovery process from the hamstring injury. But I guess with the O'Brien miss that we're all talking about, Uzuni could have had a goal, but just the overall trend this season has not been good from him, especially considering how much we paid. Net overall in all competitions, we've spent $6 million per Uzuni goal, because he scored once in the cup, I believe, and then once in league play. So that's not very good for our best player.
Hudson, do you think that Austin FC and Coach Nico still can recover Mirto? I mean, you got still, a bunch of games left, around 15 games left. This Austin FC side, do you think that they can still recover Mirto and get him at his best level, or do Austin FC fans just simply have to wait for 2026?
I mean, we have to be patient. Anyone calling for a buyout is wrong. But I mean, as far as this season, I don't know. I mean, the real problem, we know Uzuni can do it. He's done it on the international stage and on the club level. I think the problem here is really just how the coaching is. And the tactics aren't fitting to him, but it also could be that him and Vazquez kind of just play the same position. And I don't know if the whole plan was even to have both of them, or if that was just maybe a mistake because that Brandon deal was supposedly collapsed, and then that's the space when we signed Uzuni. So maybe it's just a mistake, and we have 2 of them there. And if that's the way it is, then it's not going to work.
That's what
I want to add this little bit of context to that conversation of, were we supposed to get both this and that or whatnot? On the pod that we did with John Gallagher, John revealed that Austin FC, because do you guys remember when the whole San Diego stuff and Brandon Vazquez was going on, that Bibi was going to go to a team in California, maybe San Jose, maybe San Diego, this and that? But John revealed, because John and Brandon are very close, right? And John revealed, and he even looked around, he was like, can I say this? Well, yeah, I think I can, because he already signed. But he said that Austin FC was in for Brandon months before he, before the reports started coming out that Austin FC this and that, because it happened kind of quick after the first kind of stuff coming out about Monterrey, this and that or whatnot. But John said that they were looking at BV9 months before all that, before San Diego and the San Jose stuff was going on. So I'm wondering just exactly what happened there, because kind of like what Hudson says, it seems like sometimes they are playing that same position, and hopefully they can figure it out, because I'm the one to believe that Mirto Uzuni has quality. He is a talented football player. It's just the system is not favoring him. Maybe we're playing him out of position, or we're just not using him in the right way. And the system just favors John Gallagher. It really does. And he's probably more comfortable with these guys. Tucker.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is Uzuni is a good player. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not. I mean, we've seen the numbers in Spain. The issue is he is Brandon Vazquez. If you look at all of his time in Spain, he played that exact same position. And you can see when they're on the pitch together, they run into each other because they want to play the same position. I think what probably happened is Uzuni was supposed to be the signing that we got if we didn't get Vazquez. And then the whole thing with Driussi happens. And now we're left with no DP10 and we don't know what to do. So the only player we have to fall back on is Mirto Uzuni. So now we ended up in a situation where we kind of had to panic buy someone because we need somebody, right? And we're left with getting Mirto Uzuni when he was originally just supposed to be the backup if we didn't get Vazquez. And now we're in a position where we have both of them and are having to force them into the same team together when they're the exact same player.
Now, well, Primo, anything else that you want to add on to that conversation with Mirto and Gali? I know that we're talking about this lineup, right? And I feel like that's one of the main headlines, the fact that Gallagher got the nod, got the start, but also just like here, our Fred Hudson pointed out that he didn't think that Mirto was going to get any serious minutes anyways because of the travel, the just the wear and tear from jet lag and all that stuff. And Gally had been working all week and he'd been doing things right. We also got to point that out as well. But pretty much anything that you want to add on to the starting 11 conversation, which I was actually very happy with what Austin FC put out, with Coach Nico put out. And I'm happy with John Gallagher getting the start. But I wouldn't have minded Mirto being out there. But how did you see it, mate, before we go into some other topics?
I mean, I think it worked out well. I think it worked out really good, this last lineup we had. And I would want this lineup to stay how it is moving forward. And, I wouldn't mind Uzuni coming off the bench as, some extra firepower we might need, if we're lacking in goals, or, we need something to where we need to add an attacker. I think Uzuni will be good coming off the bench, but you don't have to have all three DPs starting at the same time. I know the price tag is there, and they want to see these players, but it's not working. It doesn't work with all three of them up there. And I think it all comes down to what's been brought up. Both of them do play similar positions, and just Brandon Vazquez is just I'm not gonna say he's going off, but he's definitely doing a lot better than Uzuni. And at the beginning, they're getting almost about the same minutes. They're both starting at the same time, and so at the end of the day, I think Brandon Vazquez is who you want starting and up front. And so, Mirto Uzuni can't accept that. I know he probably came in thinking I'm gonna be this player that I want to score goals, I want to break records. You gotta buckle down a little bit, man. You gotta understand that there's better players around you, and you gotta just help the team as much as you can. And even if it's 10, 15 minutes that they give you. So
yeah, no, totally, mate, totally, definitely, bro. Now, of course, it is going to be a little bit of a dilemma for Coach Nico and his staff moving forward, because, like he mentioned midweek, there's a lot of options at left wing right now. You have Uzuni, of course, you have Gallagher, and like Hudson mentioned, you have Robert Taylor there as well, which is he's still finding his pace, finding his rhythm with Austin FC. But this is a guy that was pretty key for an Inter Miami. He was key to Miami when they were kind of at their best. And although he got criticized by Joseph Martinez, his ex-teammate, saying that before Messi, he couldn't do anything. After Messi, Messi kind of brought out the best of him and whatnot. But kind of like what Hudson was saying, we still haven't seen the version of Robert Taylor that is considered his best for Austin FC. We've yet to see that. But I want to talk about what's coming up for Austin FC because, it is a break, right? You just beat the New York Red Bulls. FC also beat North Texas Derby win there, also by the margin of 2-1. Goes by Micah Burton and also Jorge Alastui. Massive win for them right there. But here we see that the first team off next week, the 21st, and then with the Seattle stuff going on, the LAFC stuff that's going on with the Club World Cup, we're going to get Hudson's take and also Tucker's take on this as well. But for what's coming up for Austin FC, right? I want to get Tuck's take on this break and also how they're going to approach the next two games coming up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we might not even play a game until July. So it'll be nice to get these players a break. I know that realistically we'll play in Saturday, but there could be a crazy world scenario where we don't play a game till July, which is super unlikely. But it is a very small possibility. So it'll be good for these players to get a break, Uzuni to go back and see his family, Bakari to go back, and hopefully we can take advantage of this, the players to get a rest. Because, I was getting tired of watching all the games. Like, it was exhausting for us as fans. Like, it was a long, long month. And the players need a break. So it'll be good for them. It sucks that we're taking a break right as we're building momentum, but hopefully we can come back and keep building off of that. Beat a tired Seattle after them playing in the Club World Cup. Hopefully beat an LAFC, and see what happens from there.
Mate, speaking of break, talk about Guilherme Biro's just ability to leave Q2 Stadium, probably pack up the night, hit up Disney World, mate. He's already there having the time of his life, man. I mean, there was a photo I saw of him passed out on the ground, just like a 12-year-old's first time at Disney World, crashed out from sugar. Him and his daughter having a good time. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all of the Austin FC players that are dads. But Guilherme Biro, one of the players that we've seen, based off of some posts, he's enjoying this break already. And we're going to get into the Club World Cup, but we've seen protests. We've seen, not protests, like out in the street, but, there's been players saying that, hey, we need rest. There's too many games that are being played. And I feel like the Austin FC guys, Austin FC players definitely felt that during May. Nico was hinting at some guys being feeling sore, and it's perfectly normal or whatnot. But Hudson, what's your take on this break that Austin FC is going to go into? It sucks that the momentum is going to be halted, but how are you seeing this break? You think it's going to be beneficial, or you think it's going to hurt these guys more?
I think given the team we're about to play, that it's going to be beneficial because this Seattle game, sure, it's away, but this is a must-win. We play them just 5 days after they end their Club World Cup against their last two games of their group stage are against two of the best teams in the entire world in PSG and Atleti. And then also in their game against Vancouver, two of their defenders, John Bell and then Nuhu, got red cards, so they won't be there for our game either. So, this is just everything's pointing to we have to win this game, right? And then as much as we do like rest, right after this, we have 4 games in 11 days with LAFC, New England, San Jose, and the LA Galaxy. We have two Wednesday games and 2 Saturday games back to back. So like a May 2.0 there, but I think it's good to have this game against what should be a weak Seattle, and even LAFC should be tired. We play them at home. So I think the momentum is going to stay.
Hopefully. We would need that 100%. But really good shot there, Hudson, of what's coming up. Maybe a May 2.0. A little bit of a tough stretch there. And also, Nico has a lot of stuff on his mind with the All-Star things going on. A little bit of a side quest for Coach Nico, but hopefully he's enjoying it. We need to see a picture of when Nico first got to Austin and where he's at right now, because the transformation Josh Wolf went through was crazy. Hopefully Nico's not going through it that much, but being a coach must be a difficult job. No wonder some players are like, no way, I'm not getting into that. But whole other topic there. Primo, your thoughts, mate, on what's coming up for Austin FC, right? We're talking about the fact that they're in a break right now. Biro is already enjoying it. Uzuni and Bukhari are going to go see their family, confirmed by Coach Nico. They're probably leaving the country as we speak, and hopefully they have no troubles. I know things are kind of crazy right now for everybody, no matter what kind of paperwork you got. But Primo, how are you kind of taking in this break? Like I asked Hudson, you think it's going to be good for them, or you think it's going to hurt them?
I don't know, man. It's a little hard to tell because we've seen these players go through small breaks, and sometimes they don't come off well, and so I'm hoping that after a really long May, that these guys can reset themselves a lot better. We're coming off a win, but two good teams coming up. We got Seattle, but at the same time, that's crazy that they're making them play these two tournaments at the same time. I was just thinking about that right now. But I mean, maybe I guess it pays to be champion, and so tough luck for Seattle, but it's just something we got to take advantage of for sure. So points away are always a big win, and hopefully we can get those points and create some kind of cushion. Because next thing you know, the end of the season's here, and you want to make sure that you're in a good spot. And picking up all these points early on, especially on the road points, really benefit towards the end. So
definitely, man. Now I had Austin FC picking up 4. I'm sorry, I said 4 points in June, if I'm not mistaken. I said maybe 6. Now, obviously, they're at 6 right now. They could be at 9. Undefeated in the month of June would be massive for this team. That would be great for the momentum then going into July, May 2.0, as our good friend ATXFC News mentioned. But guys, I want to get into a little bit of a juicy topic, the Lanzini rumor that's going on right now. We have here on screen, you have Manuel Lanzini transfer rumor. Now, this rumor was first reported, I have here, by Deportivo. I'm sorry. First reported by El Crack Deportivo. Okay. I don't know why Argentine accounts have that okay at the end, but I think it's like an official something like that they do. But El Crack Deportivo was the one that put it out there, and our good friend Better Than Nation ATX, he was the one that kind of highlighted it for the Austin FC community. And there was a lot that was said about this guy. There was folks saying, hey, he's 32, past his time, past his best. He would be coming here to just maybe hang out. He wouldn't be carrying this team. But then there was people saying, hey, this is the guy that we exactly need. He's a guy with experience. Folks highlighted his time at West Ham, and of course, River Plate is no slouch. People think about Drusi right away. But I want to get the guys' takes on this. And I'll start off with Majid Tucker. Manuel Lanzini. You think this is smoke, agent smoke? We know how River Plate operates. They're very, very interesting media-wise, transfer rumor-wise. But how are you seeing this, Tucker? Because we also had the Tuti Andrade rumor kind of go quiet. Is this maybe the guy that they're looking at now?
I am hoping not. This is a hard pass for me. He is 32 years old, way out of his prime. I know stats aren't everything. I know that. But he's only scored like 1 or 2 goals in the last like 2.5 years. He doesn't play very often. We cannot sign this guy. And we know River Plate. They are going to try and pull our pants down and get $5 million from us, right? Like, let's be honest. They're not gonna say, sure, take it for 200,000, right? This is a hard no for me. And if we sign him, I will be out for Roto. Like, he will not be safe. Like that. It's a poor signing. I'm hoping it's media smoke because we kind of have history with River Plate over the last few years. So I'm hoping it's just media smoke for maybe someone else to try and come get him. But this would be a very, very poor signing.
Now, in the caption that was posted on IG, we collab with Better Than Nation ATX on this one. He added that River Plate manager Marcelo Gallardo has, quote, opened the door, end of quote, for a potential departure, and with MLS clubs able to negotiate pre-contracts with players in the final 6 months of their deals. All eyes on what happens next. Hudson, I know Tucker doesn't want to pay a big sum for this guy, but if you could get him as a free agent, would you take him, mate? Would you take this guy on like a free?
Look, I'd take him, but as a starting option, I don't think so. We're already the 5th oldest squad in the entire league. And he was good at West Ham, right? I mean, he was once upon a time valued at 20 million, but over his time at West Ham, he spent 8 seasons there, 226 games, and he only had 32 goals and 26 assists. So is that really and at River Plate now it's even worse. I mean, is that really the guy we want to be leading our team? I mean, I definitely take Tuti Andrade mid-season than having to wait. We can't just keep saying, "Oh, next season, next season." We're turning into Netflix FC over here. I mean, it's like Arsenal always waiting on the next season.
Yeah,
That was a great quote.
I mean, if we get both of them, I'm not going to be mad. If we get another Cam and then also bring Lanzini on a free, sure. But if we get only Lanzini and that's our only plan, I mean, what are we doing?
Now, Primo, we heard from Tucker. We heard from my G Hudson. You think this is just River Plate smoke? We know how they operate down there. You think that this is just maybe an agent and the club trying to offload a player because they know that Austin FC has bankroll? They know that maybe we don't have it anymore, but they gave us 10 million. Maybe they're trying to get some of that back. I mean, could be also a free. But Hudson and Tucker brought stats out. His goals, it's gotten worse. Where do you stand on this?
Man, I hope it's just all smoke, man. I hope it's all just smoke and someone just blowing the whistle out there for fun because, I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame them because, that league's in a tough spot. They're trying to get, rid of these players. They're trying to get some money out of them. I just hope that it's not true. And if for whatever reason it is that we don't pay, this crazy bag for him, if he comes down to free, great, but at the same time, hopefully they don't pay him anything crazy. He's getting crumbs if he comes, hopefully. And so, I don't know, man. I don't think this is a player. I don't think this is a player for us right now.
I mean, just also at 32, maybe 33, you got to also think, hey, I'm not at my best level anymore. Could I take a TAM deal? Could I take some kind of money like that? We'll see. We'll see what happens. And like Primo said, like how everybody's saying, hopefully it is smoke. Tuck?
Yeah, look, and I mean, let's also just point out the fact that if he was a good player, River Plate wouldn't be so eager to get rid of him. It's that simple. It's that simple.
Yeah. Ozzy did tell me that River it's just how they operate. They have so many players, young and old. It's just the way they work. But I do want to add one more thing before going on to some Club World Cup topics here. Verde Nation adds to the caption. He says, according to reports, Austin FC is monitoring Lanzini's situation closely as they move into the second half of the MLS season. While no official offer or contract has been reported, the club could pursue Lanzini as a summer window addition. So we'll see what happens there. Keep an eye on Tuti Andrade. Keep an eye on Lanzini. Also, very interesting. There was a Venezuelan national team player at Q2 Stadium last night watching the game in the areas where, like on top of the north end section. He was up there watching the game, and he put it on his story. Somebody sent it to us in DM of WATV. I'm forgetting what his name is, but could there be something there? I believe it was a center back. And I know Austin FC may be on the market for a center back. So we'll see what happens there. Transfer rumors will be flying. Make sure to keep an eye on, of course, WATV, but also keep an eye on ATXFC News and Verde Nation ATX, always bringing out the reliable transfer market information and news for the Austin FC community. But guys, getting into some Club World Cup topics. I know we talked about Austin FC, and actually just one more shout for them. Going into the break, they're in 7th. Now, Coach Nico's got to be happy with that. He mentioned that New York Red Bulls was able to make it to the finals in that exact position, but in the East. So I'm sure he's happy. And like I said earlier in the pod, he's breathing more freely now. But gentlemen, Club World Cup, it made it to our shores. It made it to the United States. There was some problems, of course, with everything that's going on in the country right now, with the protests and also ICE and them, posting on their social medias that people have to take their documentation just to be safe. I mean, crazy times that we're living in right now. And the World Cup is next year. in this same country. I mean, brace yourself is all I can say. But let's talk about the sport. Let's talk about the game. And there were some very, very interesting matches that went on today. I'm talking about Bayern Munich. We're talking about PSG, the current Champions League winners, maybe the best team in the world right now. Still teams left to be played. And some big teams from Brazil like Palmeiras was able to hit the pitch. A lot of good stuff going on right now. Hopefully the United States was in a better state, but the Club World Cup. Tuck, how did you see this opening day? Inter Miami snooze fest. Who cares about them? There's bigger teams playing right now. How did you see this opening day?
Look, it was fun. I think it was a good showing of what to expect from the Club World Cup. You have the game, like, you have the powerhouses, Atletico Madrid versus PSG. PSG obviously dog walked that game. They're the best team in the world right now, like no debate. You have the Palmeiras game. I thought that was the best game of the day. That was like even though it was 0-0, it was end to end. There were chances, there were crazy saves. There was like 30,000 Palmeiras fans. Like that was a good game that got me excited for the tournament. And then you have the other side of the tournament. It's the Bayern game. I mean, I make more money than the Auckland City players. They're on a salary cap of $90 a week, right? Like they're basically just playing for fun, right? And I think that's kind of what the Club World Cup is going to be. Respect to Bayern for, keeping it professional, and not just like putting out a B team and just, keeping it professional. I mean, and he scored 10 goals. I mean, I'm not going to say 10 goals is 10 goals, but, I mean, it was a good showing of what the Club World Cup is going to be. And I'm excited for the Chelsea games. I'll say that. I'm excited for Chelsea, which we can talk about in a minute.
Now we have here on screen the matches that already took place. Like Tucker mentioned, the Bayern Auckland 10-0 match, PSG, beating the lights out of Atletico 4-0 with the red card going to Atleti. Palmeiras and Porto, it was 0-0, but the fans from Palmeiras taking over the mall there. Boca Juniors, they play tomorrow against Benfica. Their fans, Boca Juniors fans, taking over amusement parks. I saw Top Ben 90 post that. And then right now, actually, as we speak on this pod, Botafogo and Seattle, they're tied 0-0. Botafogo, one of the best teams in this side of the world, just like Hudson mentioned earlier. Seattle Sounders, we got to give them credit. They're one of the best teams in MLS in the recent, years, the last decade for sure. They have consistent success. Schmelzer's a great coach. They've also had some great players go through there throughout the years. But Hudson, I want to get your take on the Club World Cup opening day. Matches are still to come, but how did you see this made? And Tucker saying that Bayern kept it professional, didn't put out a B team. There's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, there definitely is a reason, and that's because FIFA is fining clubs undisclosed amount of money, but they're said to be putting sanctions. Multiple reliable news outlets that they're putting sanctions if the teams don't roll out their best teams. And I mean, like full starting 11, not just a few players here or there, everybody. And that's why Bayern had to do that. But as far as the rest of the tournament goes, those 2 0-0s between Al Ahly, Miami, and then Palmeiras and Porto, those were some of the most entertaining 0-0 games I've seen.
Yeah.
Right. Like there was huge chances, penalty save in the Miami game, brilliant goalkeeper display. And then today, I don't know if you saw in the Porto game, but the Porto keeper had a double save and then a clearance off the line from one of their defenders. That was a great game. And then right now I'm watching this Botafogo against Seattle game. And Seattle's they're actually doing pretty well. Rusnak had a pretty big volley he put way over, and then also Ferreira had a shot that went maybe 1 or 2 feet outside the post. So I mean, it's definitely a little more even than I thought, but still they're never going to be able to handle Atleti or PSG. But I mean, as far as the tournament goes, there was a lot of negativity, especially from European fans, and I kind of understand it. I mean, if there's more games like that Bayern game, then was this tournament really necessary? I mean, everybody knows Europe's better.
Okay. Tucker?
Yeah, I saw a good argument on Twitter that the thing with Europeans fan is if it was marketed as it's for everyone. Did Botafogo just score?
They just scored.
Dang. I want Seattle to represent for MLS, man. I want them to do good. I want them to represent.
Man, I want every MLS team to lose.
But,
get humbled. I heard some LA Galaxy player saying we're a top 5 league in the world. So this is time to get humbled.
All right.
That's a good
Well,
point.
but
Not a
look,
bad take.
Oh yeah. So I saw a good tweet. Basically, the thing with the European fans is like they were saying like if this was marketed as it's a tournament for everyone all over the world, like the FA Cup, it's a tournament for everyone. That would be different. But the thing is, it's FIFA's marketing it as the best versus the best, and that's clearly not true for 25 to 50% of these games. But I think it's fun to have a competitive tournament over the summer, especially when our clubs, Chelsea and H Madrid, are in it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have competitive Chelsea games over the summer.
Now, Chelsea has their group, Madrid has their group, but Tuck, you did want to talk about Madrid and Chelsea. So you have confidence that Chelsea will make it out of their group, correct? First place?
I think we'll win. I think the expectation needs to be topping the group. LAFC and Flamengo are good sides. Like LAFC, they beat Club America. I think they're going to try and run out just a low block and look to counter and play direct through the wings. And Chelsea have struggled against low blocks a lot over the past 2 years. So I'm not going to go out and say we're going to steamroll these teams, but I think we should be able to get, comfortable 2-3-0 wins, right? I hate LAFC as an Austin fan. So if Cole Palmer goes out and has a stat pad session, I will celebrate it till the end of the world. It made me so happy because I hate LAFC. But Flamengo, they're a good side. We need to keep it professional, win that game. We'll be playing against Jorginho, an ex-Chelsea player who won the Champions League with us, and against Giroud against LAFC. So 2 former Champions League winners for Chelsea we'll both be seeing in this trip. And then as Tunis, I don't really know much about them, I'll be honest. But we need to keep it professional and win all 3 games, get to the knockouts. And if things go the way they're expected to, we'll probably end up playing PSG in the quarters. And unfortunately, I don't see us beating PSG. So I think our cap is the quarterfinal.
I want to ask you real quick, Tucker. I'm sure you follow more Chelsea pages than I do. But what is the kind of do you know what the kind of mindset coming out from those Chelsea players is? I mean, I know that Conference League has them maybe hyped up or whatnot, but what is the kind of atmosphere or is there hunger to win this Club World Cup from Chelsea? Because I had them as one of my dark horses for this cup.
They want to win it. They are taking it seriously. Enzo Fernandez came out in the media and said, look, I love playing for Chelsea. It is like a gift to play for Chelsea. He's passionate for Chelsea and he wants to win. All the players are coming out with hunger.
I mean, he left his family. I mean,
hey, he's back.
The guy left his family, bro.
Him and his wife are back together. Yeah.
They're back.
They're back. They're healed.
Father's Day is magical, bro. Father's Day is magical.
They want to win it. They want to win it. And we have players like Andre Santos coming in off of being one of the best players in Ligue 1 this season. And he's going to come in and join the Chelsea squad for the tournament. Our players are hungry to win it. They're hungry to prove that we're going to compete. You have, Liam Delap. We just signed him. He wants to prove that he's good enough to start game in, game out as our number 9. And this is his tournament to prove it for me. Nicholas Jackson, while he's a good all-round player, he doesn't offer the goals. Let's be honest. And Liam Delap, we spent $30 million to bring him in. This could be his breakout tournament to say, hey, I'm that guy. I'm going to be the striker for this season. You have players, we have Esteval Willian coming in next season who plays Nani Madueke's position. So you're going to have Nani wanting to play out and say, look, I'm your guy, Enzo Maresca. I want to be that guy. We have Esteval coming in, new signings, but I'm that guy. There's a lot of players that want to prove that, they're some of the best in the world. I mean, imagine if we get to a point to where Palmer or Liam Delap scores against Bayern Munich or PSG, right? They want to prove that they're good enough to compete in the Champions League that next season, because there were a lot of questions all season about how good is this Chelsea team, the money spent, the young players. And at the end of the day, we got Champions League. And now the players are hungry and they're excited and they want to prove that they're good enough to play at a top level.
Yeah. Now, Hudson, we hear Tuck very passionate about Chelsea, right? Rightfully so. They are a team that showed a really good side of themselves in Europe, the Prem also. They got Champions League football. But how are you seeing their chances? I know we're kind of focused on Chelsea, and I actually don't know who your European team is. Do you have a horse in this race?
Oh, no, you've never heard of them. They're in the second division in Poland. It's called Wisła Kraków. Yeah,
I was gonna guess Lechia Warsaw.
Oh no, big
That's what
rivals.
I was
But
gonna
if you
say.
remember back to
Oh,
2012, back in 2012, Wisła beat Barcelona in the qualifying rounds of the Champions League.
thank you,
But
thank you,
then
thank
we
you.
did a bunch of financial mismanagement, some crimes, and now we're kind of rotting down there, I guess.
Mm.
There's some
But
interesting
how do you think?
videos on YouTube. Definitely look them up.
Okay, but how do you think Chelsea's gonna do? Because I mean, Tuck's flying high. Are you gonna knock him down, or are you gonna back him up?
I mean, I'm not that much of a fan of Chelsea. I don't like their whole like money ball strategy. But how do you spend 1.5 billion and end up with Liam Delap, Pedro Neto, Noni Madueke, and Nicholas Jackson as your attackers? Like, what kind of signings are those?
They got
You're just
aura.
throwing money
They got
down
aura.
the toilet.
Let's not look. Nani Madueke is one of the best dribblers in the Premier League. Liam Delap scored 12 goals for a relegated Ipswich team. Just imagine how many chances he's going to get for Chelsea with Palmer and Enzo Fernandez behind him. Pedro Neto, he is a big game player, and he hustles. He loves the team, and I understand the money spent, but you can't have all your signings be correct. These are new sporting directors. They didn't understand how soccer worked when they came in. They didn't. They ran the Dodgers. So they came in, they did what they thought worked. They admitted they made mistakes. And now we have players in our team that are by far some of the best players in the world. Moises Caicedo, Mark Cucurella, Cole Palmer are by far some of the best players in the world in their positions. Unfortunately, Reece James can't play more than 8 games in a season, but if he could, he'd be world class. But at the end of the day, you accept your losses. We spent a lot of money that maybe we shouldn't have. It happens, but now we're a good side, right? We're a good side, and we're ready to. We're trying to prove that we're ready to compete.
All right, now Primo, just to kind of switch the topic from Chelsea real quick, going a little bit back to MLS. How far is MLS going to make it in this Club World Cup, and who do you think that team is going to be? You got LAFC, you got Miami, Seattle. Where are they going to go?
I don't know, man. I think LAFC is probably the best out of the
I
three,
agree.
for sure.
That's what I was
Absolutely.
going to guess. Yeah.
Maybe they'll make a small run. Maybe they'll make it out of the round of 16. But it's interesting to see MLS teams in these kinds of tournaments. You don't really in the past when there was this whole different format, you'll get a lot of Liga MX teams on there, and so it's good to see these teams representing the league, representing CONCACAF. But I don't think they're gonna go far. Seattle might not even see it out of the group. They got a really tough group, so. But it's cool to see them in there. I like the format of this tournament. I'm liking everything about it so far, and so I love the like all-star NBA all-star style like bro call. Bro, that threw me off, bro. I was
I
like,
hate
what
that.
is going on?
I hate
What are they
And
doing, bro?
Terrible. It's
they,
absolutely
one by
terrible.
one, and it's just crazy. It's a whole different tournament, whole different format, and I think this is kind of like a pre-trial also for the World Cup next year, and see how well we can handle stuff. And I don't know. Overall, I'm keeping up with the games. There's some good games in there. I think who play tomorrow? Who is it? Is it the Chelsea and LAFC game tomorrow?
Here,
No,
I'll read it
Correct.
off. We got Dortmund against Fluminense,
okay.
River Plate
That'll be a
against
good
Urawa Red Diamonds, Boca Juniors against Benfica, and then
That's-
Flamengo against
That'll be a
Tunis.
good game.
Yeah, there's a couple good games just all in one day, and then it kind of feels like we're in that World Cup mode. You wake up, there's a game going on, there's like 3 other games going on that same day. There's some decent games, there's some like not so good like the Bayern versus Auckland game. That one was crazy, but I like it so far. It's a good
Auckland just put the fries in the bag, bro. Just put the fries in the bag. Honestly, honestly, that meme has never been used more accurate. Just put the fries in the bag. Thomas Mueller got to go. Honestly, but before we do get out of here, I do want to ask you guys for your predicted winner of this Club World Cup, because not only are they going to take a huge amount of money home, probably some bonuses, but it's going to be an insane amount of bragging rights. I mean, the patch on the jersey is going to look incredible for years to come. It's going to be something that fans of that team are going to throw in your face for a long time. But, just to start off with Tuck, we'll go to Hudson after, and we'll finish with Primo. If I know, Tuck, maybe you're going to say Chelsea, and it's not a bad take. But if you could say somebody else other than Chelsea, who's winning this Club World Cup?
I don't think Chelsea will win it. I don't.
Really?
I
Okay.
think our peak is the quarterfinal. I think it's hard to argue against PSG. That's why I think Chelsea can't win it, to be honest. I think any other team, there's a chance we could do it. But PSG, I don't think we can hold out their attack. I don't think there's any team in the world right now that can stop PSG's attack. I know, you have Bayern Munich. I'll give you credit. Any tournament that Madrid goes into, they're always going to be the favorites because it's the name. It's Real Madrid. But at the end of the day, Madrid are not going to keep their PSG's defense quiet. I think PSG. I mean, it's almost impossible to argue for them being the favorites.
I agree. PSG is looking scary. They beat Atleti, and we'll see where they go. Hudson, who's your pick to win this tournament?
First, I have to apologize. I said the schedule wrong. Only the Boca and Flamengo game are tomorrow. The Dortmund and River Plate are on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But as far as who wins, I really hope it's not going to be a big European side. But in all reality, it's going to be PSG, Madrid, maybe Man City, and maybe Bayern. But aside from that, it doesn't really matter. I mean, this Club World Cup is honestly pointless, and I don't really think any of their fan bases, if they win, would care that much anyway.
I'm gonna have to stop
I don't even think that they'd put it above their league title if they won. Those four big teams.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. I think the teams and the fans do want to win this. Like, at the end of the day, it's a competitive tournament. If you're in a tournament, maybe they wouldn't put it over their league title, but they would put it up there. It's a competitive tournament. It's one of those things where if you're in it, you want to win it. And if you're not in it, maybe you don't really care. But if you're in it to win it, right? That's it. And the fans are going to want to win it. It's not a preseason trophy sponsored by a car dealership. Like, it is a real competitive trophy. And there's questions about it, but if you're in it, you want to win it.
I mean, of course they're going to want to win it, but this is just glorified friendlies at this point. I mean, besides the money, they don't have anything going for it. I would say that the South American
League, and look at how much that means to the Portuguese people.
That helps them with their coefficients and qualifying for tournaments. So that actually is more important.
And the Club World Cup gets you $120 million. So
it's maybe it's more about the money. Maybe it's the owners and FIFA, pushing this tournament. There's prizes, there's incentives, but you also can't hide the fact that FIFA's almost giving away some of these tickets with some of the prices that are being thrown around, social media, the packages that they're throwing around. It's kind of sad, but FIFA just kind of they've made a weird mess of all this. But guys, just one more thing actually before we do get out of here. I know I said at Club World Cup we were going to get out, but just to finish off, the U.S. men's national team, the Gold Cup, Mexico, they're that all kicked off as well. Mexico struggled against the Dominican Republic 3-2. They see the win though. USA completely demolishes Trinidad 5-0. Patrick Agyemang, Tucker, we're never gonna beat those allegations that Agyemang is the second coming of Henry or the second coming of damn near R9 from Charlotte FC fans. But he is kind of good, man. He is kind of good. You got to give him some credit. But USA and Mexico taking care of business on match day one. They're probably going to reach the final. I know USA is going through it right now. Mexico is going from less to more. But those are going to be the two teams that make it to the final. They've won it consistently the past 20 years. Canada won it, I think, in 2000. But since then, it's just USA, Mexico. But the Gold Cup is just those two countries and everybody else. You think it's going to go to the final with those two teams, USA, Mexico?
Yeah. It's the Gold Cup. We're playing Trinidad and Tobago. And, it's an MLS All-Star team glorified that just is in to play a national tournament. And, it's fun, but I don't know. I never really cared too much about the Gold Cup. So
Mm,
plus everything
okay.
that's going on. I mean, Pulisic getting abused online for not wanting to go play against third world countries. Like that's ridiculous. Let's be honest. Pulisic, he's played in the Gold Cup once and never has gotten criticized for it. And now suddenly he's getting abused for it. Botafogo just scored again.
Right before the half.
Yeah.
Difficult scenes. My G Ray Green TV got to be going through it. But Hudson, who's your two teams or one teams to make it to the final in this Gold Cup? And Tucker, I do got to say, man, when I was a kid, the Gold Cup meant so much more to me. It meant a lot. I thought it was cooler. It was a lot more fun. I used to watch it all the time. But as I got older, I see the importance that they give it, and it kind of takes it away from me a little bit. But Hudson, USA or Mexico, you think they're making it to the final?
I mean, of course, like maybe Canada, maybe Jamaica pulls off an upset. I don't really watch CONCACAF. The U.S. is in my team, but I mean, of course, they're the two like only teams that are at all good.
Okay, fair enough. Primo, same question to you, bro. But as we're closing out today's episode, man, I mean, the Copa Oro, I don't know if you saw it the same way I did when I was a kid, but I remember the trophy even looked cool. You know, the way it's like a weird kind of thing like that. I remember when I was a kid, just seeing Mexico play in any kind of tournament was just different. And then also in Copa Oro is where I started to discover the U.S. men's national team. I remember one year when they beat Mexico like bad in a final, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I started seeing, okay, Casey Kellner, okay, Tim Howard, okay, Boca Negra, okay, Clint Dempsey, okay, Landon Donovan. And you know, it's just a way to, you know, kind of get exposed to other countries. But who do you got making this final, bro?
I mean, it has to be Mexico and USA, man. I mean, I would want to see Canada in
One
there.
of the two.
Maybe Canada's good. You know, I would want to see Canada in the final.
Jesse Marsh.
Maybe win it. You know, just to kind of break this whole Mexico USA thing, and kind of have a new team show out and, you know, step up. I think they're getting there. They're close, but I think at the end of the day, it's Mexico USA. Gold Cup, Mexico USA, no matter what. And yeah, I think I do kind of get that same feeling that you mentioned about how this tournament may have felt like more more to heart, I guess, when we're younger. I think it probably has to do a lot with maybe who was playing around that time. You know, the players that were on these teams, and just like you, I got familiar with all these USA international guys through the Gold Cups because, you know, they'll hype up this game so much. It wasn't just a friendly. You know, we're going out there to play a Final Four cup, and you know, that's where I got familiar with, you know, the names that you mentioned, you know, Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, you know, all those big USA guys. And at the end of the day, you know, the Gold Cup is the CONCACAF competition. You know, whether you like it or not, it's not, you know, it's never going to be as big as the Euros. It's never going to be as big as Copa America, but it's what we got. And so if Mexico's in it, you know, I'm rooting for Mexico. And it just, you know, adds to the tally, and you know, if Mexico's able to win it, I think it's more of a bragging rights type of thing at this point, where, you know, whoever wins it is considered the king of CONCACAF, and whatever incentive comes with all that. But
For me, mate, Copa Oro is probably one of my favorite times of the year because both of my teams are going to make it to the final. USA's making it to the final, or Mexico's making it to the final. So I'm chilling. I'm chilling. If Canada makes it, things shake up. And like you said, Canada's a good team under Jesse Marsh. They got solid players. Canada's definitely on the come up, but we'll see if it's enough to, because they also been having struggles with like weird off the field stuff with the drone controversy and the uniform stuff. I mean, it's not a perfect federation, but they're doing things that are shifting them into the right direction. But let's get out of here, guys. A great show today, of course. Shout out to Maji Hudson from ATXFC News for joining us today. Hopefully we can have him on more episodes. A lot of great coverage coming up from his platform on social media. Make sure to follow him. But Hudson, if you could plug in your socials here, bro, go ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be at ATXFC _news on Instagram. And then I also have a Substack, It's linked on my Instagram, but it's also substack.com/@AustinFC News spelled out.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
those are the
No.
two places I post on. I'm planning on expanding my article coverage next season on my Substack. But yeah,
Definitely, and a lot of good stuff coming out from the platform of the Austin FC News, ATXFC News, my G's out there. And one of the best things that I like from that platform is the fan takeaways. You know, we do fan reactions right on outside of Q2, but there's some people that maybe, you know, they just don't feel comfortable getting on the mic. They just like to type, right? And they still have takeaways. They still want to, you know, say what they want to say, and that's a good way to get, you know, more fan takes out there. And you know, also we see the takes from other teams that also chime in on the subject, and I think that's fantastic. So like I said, check out ATXFC News on social media and keep up with everything Austin FC. Everything Austin FC. But like I said, shout out to Mikey Tucker, shout out to Primo for being here as well, and shout out to Tu Pepito restaurant in North Austin, right next to Main Event. Make sure to check them out. Sponsor We're Austin TV and our coverage of Austin FC. Big shout out to them. Big thank you to them. And yeah, just want to say thank you guys for being here. And we'll be back next week to recap. What are we going to recap next week? Maybe what these guys are doing during vacation. Who knows? Stay safe, gentlemen. And we will see you guys soon. Ciao.